will do creation. We will create a CentOS7, which we'll use in our LAN, as it's per the schema here. Here it is, as per the schema. You see this one is client CentOS7, and actually we're gonna join the domain with it. Okay, we're gonna join the domain with this client. So that's what I'll do now. So give me just a sec, and we'll start. So what I need to do basically, once I have already installed the web server here, it's very easy. I'm just gonna stop it at first. I will come here and I'll
screen and it's not visible.
I don't understand. Once again, please.
Your screen.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I think I cannot share it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I do the movie though. So I need to stop this one to make a snapshot, and afterwards I will create a clone out of it. And actually everything will be done right away. Everything will be pre-installed. I just need to change the name after this, because as you know, the name will be the same. So I would close this one, and I would shut down this computer. Okay. So as soon as it's powered off, I would come here and first create a snapshot. I'll take the snapshot, and I'll say here GUI for graphical interface, you know, guest edition, and let's say, and all initial. We have the updates, and we have a web server here, right? Indeed, yeah, that's what we have. These are the things which I have. So this remark here on this snapshot will remind me what exactly I could have if I would like to restore this snapshot. Say OK, and then I would just go back to the normal view, right click, and I'll say clone. Okay, and I will do a link clone as usual. I'll change the MAC address. I don't want something which, well, they won't be in the same network anyway, but I don't want any slight chance, you know, the MAC addresses to prevent me from connecting in the network, right? So I'm going to generate a new MAC network. I'm sorry, MAC address, and here it is, Web1 clone. Now I'm going to move it in my local area network. Well, I cannot at the moment because the machine is on. I'll do it after. I'll change the name. Okay, I'll go settings and I'll change the name to, let's see how they propose here for us. They give a proposition here to be called client CentOS7. Well, I'm gonna call it client. No problem. I'll call it client. Okay. And if you remember, on that site actually it is a different domain. I'll call this one client. I don't need to change anything else though, because everything is as it's supposed to be. Well, I need to change the host only adapter, right? Because I made the cloning of something which is on the network DMZ, and this one is on my LAN. So I need to choose my fourth adapter, which is on my LAN, right? Anything else I don't touch. Say OK. And now I could start the client. And the beauty of this is I don't need to install anything. You know, I mean, my updates are there. My even I have a web server. I don't need it, but I have a web server as well installed, right? Everything is there. I just need to change the name, and I need to change the color of the desktop, because it will get the color of this one, the very nice pink one, which actually I'm seeing here in this, well, not this one, the other one. I need to start the other one back though, the Web0 one. I need to start it again. Okay, so that's what I need to do. And after the login, I will need to change I'll log into this one. That's the old one, which is in my DMZ. You're gonna see it's identical. It will be identical. It will be the same font. I mean the desktop color, and the name will be the same. Here it is. I will minimize this. I don't need to do anything on that one, but this one I need to change the color eventually. So I'll go change the background. I'll click on the background and I'll go to colors and I'll choose something which is different. We'll choose, let's say, this one. Okay, or maybe because that's the color of my, oh no, it's different. So I could live with this, I guess. Let's see if I have something better. I don't think I have something better. I could choose something like this. Let's choose this one. Okay, so this one. And the other thing is to change the name. The name, open terminal, and log in as the root user, and then TUI, and set the host name. That's the fastest way. Now you see it's LCL. That's because we did, and we have Web01. That's the cloning name. This one will be local here because it's in my LAN, and here this one will be called client. Okay, and it's done. Let's check the IP address. IPA is the command. Well, the IP address as I expect is 200. My domain controller, which is on my LAN, is 199. Okay. Now, once again, we could change all of this to static, and we must do. For now, we're gonna leave them like this. Let's check let's check our DNS. It's always in etc resolve.conf, and it's what we expect. No, it's not what we expect. We need to change this. That's what it's shown at the moment is the IP address of my router. So I need to go and change it manually. So I'm gonna do an M2 again. I'll edit my connection. I'll go with the arrow keys and I'll go to edit. I'll go to the first one, and instead of automatic I will say manual. Then I'll go to show. I'll add my address and I'll put the same address actually, 192.168.150.200. I'll add my gateway, which is, well, I need to do something here actually. You could do it like this. So I do 24, and that will say that you have 255.255.255.0. My gateway, if you know, is 192.168.150.254. My DNS server though is 192.168.150.199. Let's just double check again. This is this funny guy here. So if I open my CMD and I do IP config, yeah, that's what we see, 150.199. That's my domain controller. And my search domain, I need to go to the search domain where it says, and I need to put here the housenet.local. And after this, I could say, go with the down arrow until it says OK, say OK. I would say escape. Now, notice that there is a bridge connection here. Further, I will show to you guys how you got guys to get rid of it. You need to get rid of it because, let me demonstrate. Let me just get out of it. And if I do IPA again, you see it shows this one. It shows this one here, virbr0 and virbr0-nic. And if I do my default gateway actually, IPR, you see this one 196.122, which is virbr0, it exists in my default gateway. It might at certain point, it's slightly possible, but it's possible my default gateway to be changed to this one. So I will show it to you in the next lecture how you guys to get rid of this one, or at the end of this one actually I will show it to you. Any questions, guys? So the next thing here, what we need to do is to join to the domain. Now, joining to the domain, we could do two ways. One way, which I'm going to show it to you now, it's the easiest way. You have here already in a movie which I did before. This is the movie called centos7-join to MS domain. This one to Microsoft Active Domain. This is the one. You're gonna see how to do it the long way. Okay. So if this one, which I'm gonna show it to you, doesn't work for any reason, well, you could use the other way, which is on the other movie. Is that clear, guys? Now, joining to the domain the shortest way, the prerequisite is you guys to have your domain name server pointed to the one which is the domain name server, which is the active domain. So I could check again if it has been changed. As you see, it hasn't been changed. So there are two ways to do it. The first way I showed it to you yesterday. You click on the settings, you go to the network, which is a little bit down, and you just stop this and started it back. The other one, which is more professional, I would say, and you could do it even if you do it remotely. Let me demonstrate it remotely, actually. So we'll create now, I will copy this one. I will duplicate this session. I will edit the session. And I will change here to 150. And I will change here to root. Okay. That's the computer which it is here. Now, as you see, I'll change the name as well. And the name will be client, if you remember. So I will start it. For this client, I will put one Z in front. So you guys and here's the Z client now. I will open it. I will be prompted for my password. I'll put my password here. I will save it. And the next thing, what I will do now, I would apply this command, which I would like to show to you, so you guys to see I'm not going to lose the connection with the network, even though I'm going to stop the interfaces. So the command as a root, you're supposed to do IF, which stands for interface down. Well, first you need to know what's the name of the interface. So IPI command will show to you the name of the interface. It's EMP0S3. So I'll put this command now here. IF for interface down actually. And I'll put the name of the interface, EMP0S3. And then I'll say double end, which means end actually, double ampersand, which means end. That means if the first condition is true, then do the other one. Only then. Okay? It's not or. If I wanted to say or, it will be like this. So I say end, and I do the same, but now I say if up, and the same name of the interface, EMP0S3, which means I will shut down the interface, and afterwards I will start it up again. And you see, I'm connected remotely. In the normal way, if I do something else, if I do NN2E, if I would, yes.
It's Virbr.
Yes, Virbr.
I will.
So we will. If I do it, if I open again another, and if I do NN2E instead of what I'm showing you, and if I activate, if I click on activate and then deactivate the connection, which is the same thing, like clicking here, going to this one, and stopping and starting the connection. Well, you're gonna see that I'm gonna lose the connection with my computer. So that's why I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do this. Of course, I could do it from the graphical interface as I show, but I would like to show it the way you could do it without losing the connection. So I'll say here Control and D, and I'll close this one, and I'll click on this command now. And as you see, it has been disconnected. It has been connected back. And if I check now my DNS server, as you see, it has been changed. Okay, so with shutting down the interface and shutting it up without losing connectivity from a remote connection using this command, actually I was able to refresh and to have the new DNS server available. So what I would do now, from the graphical interface, the shortest way, as I say, I'll click again on the settings button. I'll go completely to the bottom where it says details, click on the details, and here I'll choose users. I'll say users, okay, and I'll say unlock. I'll put my password here. I'll say authenticate, and now I could add a user. Now I could create a new user as a standard administrator, but this will be a local one. So I could go enterprise login, okay, and here's the domain. I could choose the domain, which is, as you know, housenet.local. And then I could use the username and the password. We know them. As you see, there is a tick next to the domain name, which shows it's okay. It's finding it. And then I would just click add, and I'll wait a little bit. So as you see, we're within a couple of seconds. Now you have a second user, which is the administrator. Okay. And if I would like to log in as this user, I could do it a couple of ways. I could actually log out here. I could click on this button here. I could click on this one, and I could say, it's not here actually, cancel. It would be the other one, which is this one. I'll click here and I'll say login as another user. And administrator now will be proposed as a user choice, which I could use. Here it is. And I could use the password, which is the password for administrator in my domain controller. It will, you see, it's creating the home folder for this user. Indeed, if I open now and if I go and check, I'm gonna see what exactly it is, where it is, this folder. As you see, my screen look differently, and I start again the initial start, since it is you know, it's a new user. And you see, indeed, it says administrator housenet.local to the client computer logged in. And if I do cat, and actually not cat, if I do ls home, I'm gonna see the two users now. One is administrator housenet local, which I'm logging at the moment, and also the other one, which I was logging before. Now the last thing what I want to show to you guys, I will log out of this user. I will say log out, and I'm gonna log in back with my original user. Okay. And what I would do here, actually, I could do it also from the remote session. So I would open and I will look in it. Is just open the terminal, and it's a super user. We could say systemctl disable -- now, so we to stop it and to disable it from the start as well. And we're gonna say what's the name of the service there. It's libvrtd. Okay, and I'll say this, and afterwards actually I will check the status of it. It stopped, as you see. And now if I do IPA, well, I still see both of them. So what I need to do indeed is to say reboot. So logging back. And what I would do here, I would open again the terminal. I'll do IPA, and as you see now, I don't see anymore the this interface. Okay, so that's the if I need at certain point this interface, I will do the same command if you remember. But instead of disable now, I will say enable now, and I will be able to use it again. Any questions, guys? So what we did overall, let me conclude. What we did up to now. If you go to T30, links to the installation. I would like everyone to listen to me, guys, because you know that's the important part today. You have OpenSense download, you have the CentOS7 download. For CentOS7, you're gonna have for the guest edition. Here I'm gonna put in the middle, I will put the link which I just showed it to you how to stop this additional interface. Then the installation of Apache. Don't follow MariaDB and PHP here. Then installation of the Microsoft Server 2016 evaluation, how to download and install it. We downloaded the MSH for developers for VirtualBox edition, which is actually Windows 10 computer. We're not going to use it for now, we might use it. And we downloaded Ubuntu Server. Now the next movie is the movie how you guys to prepare your network of VirtualBox, how to organize your snapshots, how to create your clones and start working with clones. That's why it might look for some of you a little bit different from what I've been doing today and yesterday, because I haven't done this since it will take even more time, and I did it already with you in other modules, guys. Okay, so it's a repetition, and if you know it already, just keep it. If you don't know it, watch it. It's additional 10-15 minutes of watch. Then I showed how to do the OpenSense. I show how to install CentOS7, Windows Server, and Ubuntu Server, and how to set up them. How to create on Windows, on Ubuntu Server, and on CentOS Server, how to create your web servers. I showed it to you how to join CentOS7 the shortest way in this movie, which will be the last but one. It will be here in between these two movies at the end. I showed it to you how to do joining to a Windows domain the shortest way. Well, indeed, the one which is called centos7 join to an MS active domain shows the longest way, and most of the time the way in production you need to do it. Okay, so you have this one too. I showed also how to set up the DNS specifically with the reverse record, which is something you need to do all the time on the domain controller. And then most importantly, I showed you guys on the OpenSense how to allow the ping by name and by IP address, public IP address from DMZ to the internet, which initially stopped. I showed it to you how to access from your local area network, your DMZ, meaning to access the only port which is open, actually the few ports are open is 80 and 443 by default, so that's why you see the HTTP. You're not allowed to ping from there. As well as you could test, guys, by yourself and see that nothing is working the reverse direction from DMZ and to LAN, and that's supposed to stay like this. The same way from WAN to LAN, there is no access, and that's supposed to stay like this. And eventually after this, we were able, for one of the web servers, we to put a NAT rule, and eventually we to allow from outside people to access the website. And I showed it to you. Actually, that's what I want from you as your homework or as your assignment first, which you're supposed to give me to me at the end of Sunday, this Sunday. So you could show me a screenshot, very simple like this, where I'm seeing locally accessing the web server from your LAN, and I see your name, and if the name is repetitive, your student ID, as well as from your real computer, your laptop, which is internet from the perspective of the router or firewall, the same thing. Okay, so you have access. That's the only screenshots you need to send me, nothing else. The name, if it's repetitive, your student ID, if you're in doubt, put both, locally and from the one. That's all. I don't need anything else. And be sure you're gonna finish the other thing, because Monday I will, Wednesday, I will start right off doing the other things which are much more complex. We start creating the servers, the the authentication servers, and we start doing authentication on our web servers, so we do not receive the HTTPS error message saying that the site is not secure. Okay, something which is important to be done. Okay, and that's a very, very huge topic. You're gonna see there are a lot of about 8 different exercises, as well as the Thursday we're gonna concentrate on Docker, which is extremely interesting, extremely powerful, and very important topic for you, especially when you go to the industry. Okay, so you